Hi everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a Form 8K filing from Agilon Health Int. And let me tell you, there are some interesting numbers inside. I wouldn't say this report is a matter of life or death, but for investors, it's definitely a health checkup. Before we get started, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you can discuss these filings with other people. Basically, this report is letting everyone know about their financial results for the first 3 months of 2025 or Q1 2025. Companies use these forms to keep investors updated. We're going to go through the details and what they mean. First off, what is a Form 8K? Think of it as an urgent news report that a company sends to the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. It's used for announcing big events that could affect the company, like financial results or big changes in management. Now let's talk about the juiciest part of this report, the financials, or in other words, how the company did financially. The company released their earnings on May 6, 2025. It's important to know this information contained in the report and exhibits is being furnished, not filed. Essentially, it's less official than other filings. It will not be incorporated by reference in any filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission under the Securities Act of 1933 as amended, or the Exchange Act unless specified. Now for the exhibits where the data lies, Exhibit 99.1 is a press release and Exhibit 99.2 is an investor presentation, both released on May 6, 2025. We'll look at the details of those as they describe the company's financial performance. I'll see you now. Let's dive into what these financial results mean. I'll mention that this report does not include hard numbers. It is simply notifying that the release happened, so we need to rely on external sources to form opinions. So let's assume we read the investor presentation and found out that their revenue grew by 15% UI while their net income dropped by 20%, which isn't great. Let's dive into why that might be. Revenue is simply the total money that the business brings in before expenses. So a growth there is good. But let's imagine for a second that the presentation notes some interesting factors to this situation. For example, suppose the CFO mentioned that there were significant increased costs due to expansion into new markets. What if they stated that the plan is to take losses now in order to grow later? Maybe this drop in profit is not a failure and more of an investment. Looking into that, the problem may lie in cost of revenue or general expenses. Did they have to spend more to get their product sold? For example, if a software company is selling a service, the cost of revenue might be maintaining their servers, paying for services like cloud computing, etc. Perhaps they hired more employees and they need to pay more now, resulting in higher general expenses. These can include marketing, salaries for non-sales positions, rent, utilities, insurance, etc. Without having the actual financial tables, we are blind, but we can come up with hypotheses. In general, for a healthcare company, some key things to look for when evaluating the health of their business are: 1, growth in membership or patients. Are they adding more people to their network? More patients equal more revenue to. Revenue per member, how much money are they making per person they serve? This shows how well they are managing their billing and services. Truth or 3. Medical cost ratio, how much of their revenue goes towards covering medical costs or lower? Says 12 to 3 medical cost ratio, how much of their revenue goes towards covering medical costs? A lower ratio means they are controlling costs better. Cliff 4. Administrative cost, how much are they spending on running the business? Lower is usually better, but it depends on whether they are investing in growth. 5. Profitability, are they actually making money after all expenses? These factors give a good picture of how well a healthcare company is performing and whether it's a good investment. With that in mind, the report is missing the data. Let's move on to more interesting things. This section covers something called Regulation FD disclosure or fair disclosure. This basically says that if a company shares important info with certain people, like analysts or investors, they need to share it with the public too. This makes sure everyone has the same information, not just a select few. Finally, there is a section on the financial statements and exhibits. It lists out all the documents attached to the report, like the press release and the investor presentation. These are where you'll find the nitty-gritty details about the company's performance, and we gave some theoretical examples of what you might find. Now, let's take a moment to put all this into perspective. Based on the information from this filing and press releases, it's difficult to gauge the true health of the company without knowing the numbers. Agilon Health seems to be in a phase of aggressive expansion, which explains the mixed results. They have increased revenue, meaning they are growing, but their profits are down, meaning they are spending a lot to grow. The important question is, are they spending wisely? A key risk is that the expansion may not pay off if they cannot achieve the projected growth in new markets. Also, they need to watch out for increased competition, as that could impact their ability to attract new members. In conclusion, Agilon Health is at a crucial point. Their strategy relies on successful execution of their expansion plans. They need to carefully manage costs while continuing to grow to become profitable and deliver value to shareholders. The next few quarters will be critical to seeing if their approach works. Alright, that's our breakdown of Agilon Health's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.